It's just our president. It's just I'm so ashamed that our kids have to be raised in an era where the president is so ugly. What's uglier than swaddling a newborn baby, placing it into a crib in the next room, and then discussing whether you kill it or not? Name me one thing that Donald Trump has ever done, including grabbing all of the that would be as ugly as that. All right, so I think this goes back to the question of the day. I want to move into, I think the left's really it's just infanticide, their agenda. I think the abortion mask right now is slipping.
Completely
and I think that's what's
not
most...
slipping, it's done.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Oh my God.
It pretty much is gone. So I think what's important to note, too, in the past, and we've talked about this, we did that video with Abby Johnson, former director of Planned Parenthood, which was immediately demonetized. Surprise. Civil long-form discussion, gone. No money at all. No profanity, just we don't like your opinion. In the past, the Planned Parenthood message was that the abortion, it only made up about 3% of their services. Remember that? Recent BuzzFeed Puff piece, though, on the new CEO, I think, what's her name, Leanna Wen? Is that it? They had a headline about Planned Parenthood focusing on non-abortion services, and Leanna Wen then contradicted it, corrected them with a tweet claiming that abortion was, quote, their core mission.
Yeah, basically just confirming what we already knew, right? Surprise, the sky is blue.
This is really important for people to note. The safe, legal, and rare has gone out the window, and if you look at the bills from, we'll get into them in a second, the bills from New York, now there's a bill in Virginia, and there's, I think, is there 6 or 7 proposed bills in Rhode Island, Brodigan?
I think we're up to. I think it's up to 7.
Okay, there are quite a few, and they're just as bad. So I think a few points to keep in context here. Democrats, and I mean the DNC platform. Let's not talk about, well, you don't want to generalize, man, and the extreme right. No. The DNC, the Democratic platform, they are pushing abortion up until birth. Wow. Don't believe me? Here's Delegate Kathy. Is it Tran?
Tran.
Kathy Tran, talking specifically about the abortion bill in her state.
So the way the suggestion that we've made in the bill is to say it's in the 3rd trimester and at the, with the certification of the physician.
She just says that.
How late in the 3rd trimester could a physician perform an abortion if he indicated it would impair the mental health of the woman?
Good question.
Or physical health.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about the mental health.
She's trying really hard
to
not say 9
through the
months.
3rd trimester. The 3rd trimester goes all the way up to 40 weeks.
Okay, but to the end of the 3rd trimester.
Yep, I don't think we have a limit in the bill.
That means a baby, by the way. We're not talking about a clump of cells. We're not talking about a zygote. She's saying mental. She tries to, this is what happens, right? She tries to redirect it, or physical health. He goes, okay, but there's also mental health. We agree on physical health. If a mom is going to die at that point, if both beings are going to die, obviously you take the lesser of two evils in that scenario. I understand it as a reasonable argument. I don't want to get into that right now. But the broader exception is mental health. So she goes, physical health. What about mental health? Physical health. What about mental health? So it'd be like going in for a mortgage. All right, it's going to be a 3% rate. 2%. No, hold on a second. That's not how this works. You don't just get to say a word. And she refuses to say a baby. It's up until it comes out of the birth canal. It's like any reason, by the way. It can mean anything, mental health. It's like a medical marijuana card, only with killing a baby. I have back pain. I don't like the baby. I think he's going to be a approved.
And that's what people think, like, oh my gosh, it's going to be this refined process. No, there are doctors out there that want to be advocates for this and activists, essentially, and they're going to do it for whatever reason, right? We're going to see economic health pretty soon here, right? That's the 3rd thing that we're going to see. I can't afford this. It's about 2 weeks until the baby's due. Can you please help me?
Right.
Really?
People say, do you really think it's going to get that extreme? Well, okay, we'll move on to the next point. But considering that smiling is now seen as the sign of white supremacy. I was like, well, hold on a second, not supporting the welfare state, that's white supremacy. People go, I don't really think so, but okay, you want to use some demographics and say that it's discriminatory toward minorities? All right, voting for Donald Trump is racist. I don't really think that's the case. Smiling is like the KKK. How quickly do you think it will devolve here on the left when it comes to abortion? And by the way, I don't know how much further they can devolve. Here, this brings us to our next point. Democrats, by the way, are pushing for abortion even after birth.
That's murder.
You're just the afterbirth. Kamala Harris that slithered out. That's you didn't watch There Will Be Blood. Is no one here awake?
I did watch that.
Good Lord. Good Lord. Here's Virginia Governor Ralph. Is it pronounced Northam?
Northam?
No, it's not Northam. Anyways, basically endorsing infanticide. Thank God we videotape radio interviews now. Let's play this.
When we talk about 3rd trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable.
I've never
so in
to
this
throw a
particular
shoe at a
example,
he
if a mother is
right
in
here.
labor,
Watch.
I can tell you exactly what would happen. the infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion.
It was. Hold on a second. Wow. What happened to non-viable?
Yeah.
He literally says non-viable in the first half and says, by the way, then we might resuscitate the baby, feed it, give it a feeding, make sure that it's alive, and then leave it to die as we have a discussion. What kind of a discussion? It's like, okay, listen, you have a baby right now who's been swaddled in blankets. It's in the next room. We'd like to see what kind of options you'd like to discuss, including our tiny casket special for only $5.99. Is that on the table?
Jeez. You only have half an hour to act, though.
It really is remarkable. Road trips to the Northern Fair must have been really interesting. Kids, if you don't shut up, a discussion will ensue. All right, listen, I'm going to turn this car around and have a discussion with you. Even the Addams family would look at this and say, God, Mia, that's f***ed up. That's how bad this is.
I mean, if there's the slightest silver lining in people saying that we should literally kill people, if this wakes people up and they pay more attention to issues, because I've noticed a lot of apolitical friends in New York are expressing their disgust of the New York bill. I'm going to go on a limb that there are voters in Virginia who consider themselves to be pro-life but voted for the governor just because Orange Man bad.
Sure.
Hopefully now people are waking up, and there are worse things than Donald Trump being a on Twitter, and it's killing babies.
Well, that's why I hate the whole discussion of let's find common ground, let's meet in the middle. No, hold on a second. This is the national Democratic platform, guys. This isn't some extremist. This isn't the Young Turks. This isn't Samantha Bee. This is what all of the Democrats who, when they form state legislature, this is what they want. This is what they have. And by the way, is this a shock? It shouldn't be, considering that Democrats have repeatedly voted against measures like the Born Alive Infant Protection Act, which protected babies after they were born alive. It's in the name. Barack Obama didn't vote president, he voted no. This has been the MO of those in power for a long time, by the way. It's just, they haven't had it completely unfettered. And if you want to know what it looks like, just look at New York.
Yeah, and this could basically single-handedly give the election over to Donald Trump. I really don't know why this issue is coming out in force like it is right now, because we're about 2 years before the presidential cycle, about two years before the election. So the cycle's starting. People are going to start going out. You're seeing it with Democrats saying they're going to throw their hats in the ring. If this issue is on the table and that bill
they don't get
is
it.
What they
They're
get to
so
point
tone
at.
deaf. We pulled this story from Huffington Post, okay? And a headline, it was something like, Tucker Carlson gets burned in his own show. And he asked this liberal guest, he says, okay, you saw this from Northam right here. What do you think about this? I think you want to take us back to overturning Roe v. Wade. He goes, no, I don't want to do that. But can we not throw out talking points? Can you please talk about this, which was on tape today? I want to talk about how you have no say what women do with their bodies. Huffington Post watched this exact same video, and they see it as a win. They put that one up on the scoreboard for themselves. Speaking of wins, by the way, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed, because apparently it doesn't mean a whole lot on YouTube, and it might get lost in the subscription box. Join Mug Club, $99 annually, $69 for students, veterans, active military, ladderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. You get the full daily show, and it's what supports the content. Also, iTunes, if you're listening to the audio version. Here's what's also really important to note, that abortion up until birth, it's not a far left position. I cannot reiterate that enough. This guy, he's not Cortez. He's seen as a centrist. Okay, the Virginia bill was defeated, but New York just passed. The bill was passed. And now I think Rhode Island, I think someone can correct me here, it's either 7 or 6 bills proposed in Rhode Island. This is important to note. This is mainstream leftism. So when people say, there's such a stark contrast between all of these Democratic candidates and Donald Trump, sure, I'm okay with that. You all want to kill babies up to 40 weeks and after 40 weeks. Good, there's enough of a contrast for me.
And this is the thing for me right now. This is where you draw the line. I know yesterday we were talking a little bit about finding some common ground, educating people. This is not that issue necessarily. When you start to say that you're okay with third trimester, you go out of your way to make it physical health instead of mental health, this gigantic loophole that people are going to run through. You have absolutely revealed what your strategy is. And one thing that you don't want to do, people dislike Donald Trump, but they are so pro-life that they will get out and vote for him even if they weren't.
Here's what's really important. The left is lying in order to try and get this legislation passed. They say, well, most Americans are pro-choice. Okay, we're using the term pro-choice. But the American public are overwhelmingly against abortion up until birth. It's opposed by 80% or so. Most Americans don't support third trimester abortions. The Democratic platform does. This is something that's crazy to me. The press makes such a big deal out of Trump insulting people about being, it's being rude or ugly. Donald Trump, it's just our president. It's just, I'm so ashamed that our kids have to be raised in an era where the president is so ugly. What's uglier than swaddling a newborn baby, placing it into a crib in the next room, and then discussing whether you kill it or not? Name me one thing that Donald Trump has ever done, including grabbing all of the that would be as ugly as that.
Stormy Daniels.
That's fair.
Okay,
That's fair. I stand corrected. And here, they claim, too, the advocates, this is something that's really important. It's just inaccurate. This is one of those issues where the further we advance scientifically, the less ground they have to stand on. They make this claim that third trimester abortion is only necessary in some rare circumstances when the baby's going to die anyway. No, that's not what's actually happening. The Guttmacher Institute, which, by the way, pro-choice, pro-abortion organization, says that the data shows, quote, most women seeking later-term abortions are not doing so for reasons of fetal anomaly or life endangerment.
Wow. That's right there. And then I thought we had medical procedures for this if the baby's life was in danger, if mom's life was in danger and going to term with this. I thought we had C-sections. Yeah. I thought that was part of the issue, saying, hey, this is dangerous, let's do this. By the way, do you know there's story after story after story right now in the media that people who are alive 20 years later are saying, the doctor told my mom I was not viable. Right. And I made it out fine. She's fine. This isn't exact science for these guys. There's a huge lane to drive. I just want an abortion.
It's also geographically dependent. Oh, wait, hold on a second. A baby in the hills of Virginia, not Virginia, but West Virginia. Let's go with West Virginia. A baby in the hills of Kentucky. Right? Baby, is that life worth less than the baby in a hospital in Lenox Hill? In the Upper East Side, simply because they have access to better medical equipment? Viability is not a consistent argument. And this is what's crazy. Where are we supposed to find common ground here? This is what's crazy. There's no common ground left. Well, let's find common ground on Plan B. Okay, let's do it. Now, how about second trimester? Well, we're supposed to find now up until birth. If it's born, can we kill it? Remember, common ground, and they want to call you an extremist prick. Safe, legal, and rare was supposed to be the common ground for a long time. Rape, incest, health of the mother, that was supposed to be common ground. I just said health. Like Trigger Mike. The health of the mother.
Not mental health.
And this is what's so funny to me, they said this of Christians for a long time, right? They used to say, oh, they're single-issue voters. They're morons. They're single-issue voters. Yeah. If you're going to be a single-issue voter, what's more important? Hating Donald Trump because you think he's a dick, or not killing live babies? Imagine looking back through history and saying, man, the Allies in World War II were really single-issue guys. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln was a single-issue dick. Here's the thing. Yes, I understand, obviously, the economy matters. If you're looking at an election, trade, whatever. But if there are still people who are being enslaved against their will, then that is the only issue. It's just like if you cover somebody's mouth and pinch their nose. Then all of a sudden you call them an oxygen extremist. Well, it's because that's the most pressing issue. Their only issue that matters at that point is oxygen. Right? And all the single issue voting was justified. We knew it. It was never going to stop at Hobby Lobby providing, what was it? They provided 16 out of the 20 or 21 forms of birth control. And they were saying, no, hold on a second, they have to be mandated to provide all 21 forms of birth control. That was never going to be the end point. The end point was never going to be the Plan B pill. Their plan was always to push it this far. And by the way, how is this not straight up evil, purposefully evil? I think that people can be used as tools of evil. I've talked about Barack Obama with this. I don't think Barack Obama proactively went out and said, I'm going to subvert the cause of good, that I'm an evil person, but I think he was used as a tool for evil, certainly if you look at his voting record, specifically on this issue. But with this, it's not someone who's being used as a tool without knowing it. They are proactively killing babies. They are walking into the room knowing fully well, their mission is to kill a baby. That's it. They don't care. And this is what's so funny to me. We could say like, oh, this is, at one point we said this is the path to euthanasia, right, of children. This slippery slope is an argument. There is no more slope. There is no more path.
We're done.
We're at the end of the path. That's it. Here, I'm going to make a bold statement here. What Hitler did is no more evil than this. He just did it more times. Are you saying that, yes, I believe that aborting a baby at 40 weeks, at 25, at 30, at 35 weeks, certainly after it's born, I believe that is every bit as evil as what Hitler did.
Yeah.
You think that's an extreme example to make a point? It's 2 of the biggest states in the Union. Are you okay with this? You're okay with babies being born alive dying? Because that's where we are now. It's not, well, I'm okay with this, but no, hold on a second. We're past all other considerations. There is no more slope. There is no more slide. There is no more path. We're here. That's the final question. Are you pro-life, okay? Or are you pro this? What's this? Delivering a newborn, wrapping it in a blankie, and then leaving it to die. That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. Legally, that's what the legislation is pushing for, period. There's no more path. There's no more slope to slip. This is where we are. Are you pro-life or are you pro this? That's it. Find common ground on that. Hey there, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel or hit the notification bell. Do it. I'll wait a second. Do you hear that little ding? It actually didn't make a ding sound. I just did it. It happened while my mouth was doing it, and you thought it was coming from your computer. So that's fun. Also, there's some videos playing in these boxes next to me. Go watch those. You might enjoy them. You might not. I don't care.